Hey everyone, my name is Saf. You are watching Gray on Tech TV, and we are continuing on UI UX development series for Appian. Last time we were seeing navigation patterns and how they are different from each other. If you see here, we are having navigation collapsible, lightweight, and stamps, and subsections as well. Today we'll be continuing on another pattern, and this will be helpful for you to understand how the different blocks of code and combination of functions, different functions work with Appian. So I was planning to showcase activity history. So yeah, let's do activity history and let's clear the code. Go back to design mode. Let's drop activity history and understand what is the basic purpose of activity history. So in general sense, activity history is nothing but a combination of different interface rendering functions, which is trying to showcase you with some event of time, some data related to event of time. If we see the documentation first, it's like it's a common style which is trying to showcase an organization's activity measures. So we'll focus on the code part right now, and then we can come back to the documentation. In the expression mode, if you see here, there are local variables, which is holding a list of maps. Most of the patterns you see in Appian, they will be mostly starting with the local variable, which is providing you the core data for the pattern, which is nothing but a list of maps. You see on the bottom side, we are having an A bank for each. If you see on the top side again, we are having another loop. So this is something related to how the width of the viewport would be. So if you select on the right side for the phone view, how will it be visible? And if you select it for the desktop view, how will it be visible? So this is kind of that condition. It's quite simple to understand pattern. So we are having a list of map which is having different keys like icon, title, and timestamp. So this timestamp is static and the data as well. What you can have is actually a dynamic data with the data coming from the data source like a database, right? You can bring the data through expression rules and it would be definitely having some time-based transactions. Based upon the events, you can populate them based upon the design that you configure. If you see after the definition of local variables, what we are having the expression area of the local variable. Here we are having an if condition. Inside the if condition, we can see that a bang is page width phone. So this functions returns what if it is the actual width which whatever is passed is it is returning true, and if it is not the width which is passed, it returns false. In simple terms, we are having the width currently as desktop. Now this function will check a bang is page width phone. So current width is desktop, whereas we are checking for phone. So phone is not equals to desktop. That means this function will return false. If the function will return false, the first part of the if condition will be false, and the condition is false, then the first value if true will be ignored, whereas the else condition will be rendered in the interface. If phone is equals to phone, so let me put phone. If phone is equals to phone, here you can see that the first part is being rendered, right? So it is very easy to understand pattern. If I remove a bang is page width, still you can show the else condition here. Let me cut it out and let me directly paste it. Still it will be working, but it is just specific to the like desktop version now. We have not put any condition for phone. So for phone condition, what we have to do? We have to come back and we have to put the condition if the width of the current viewport, which is whatever is your viewport, if the width of your viewport is equal to phone, then show phone version, else show desktop version. Now let's see the desktop version first, and then we'll see the phone version. So what we are doing a loop on action history. What is action history? It is the local variable which is defined on the top. It is nothing but a list of map. So whatever data we are having for each map, we are iterating based upon that data. So right now it is 3. It can be dynamic as discussed earlier as well. So here we are having local bank action history. Inside the expression, first thing that we are having is side-by-side layout. And this is the only layout that we are using. So the speciality of side-by-side layout is the component that you keep in a side-by-side layout will be one beside each other. It will not be one below each other. In column layout, the difference between column layout and side-by-side layout is in column layout, the components will be one below each other. So how can I explain you? I'll show you an example. So let's drop a column layout. Inside the column layout, let me put an integer field and let me put another integer field. You can see the components are coming one below each other. Now if I do another columns layout, let me put another columns layout, and inside the columns layout, let me put a side by side layout. Now inside the side by side layout, let me drop an integer field here and let me drop another integer field here. Now I have the ability to keep my components one beside each other using side by side layout. So that's the difference between keeping the components one below each other in by default column layout scenario or keeping contents one beside each other. So what you see in the pattern here is we are having first side by side item on the left side, and beside it we are having some other code content. So let's go back and explore them. So here you can see that we have to go to the next expression mode, sorry. So here you can see that we are having a side by side layout. This is where we were, local bank action history. We are having a side by side layout. The first item is stamp. Stamp is already discussed. If you have not seen the video, you can see the video in my previous lecture playlist. You'll find it by the title stamp field. Inside the side by side item, we are having a stamp field. Now we are doing fvbang item.icon. So for each map, we are having a key called icon. That's why we are having fvbang item.icon. So whatever icons are defined in the map, one by one, they are being rendered based upon the iteration of the loop. So first side by side item is defined. That means the left side of the side by side layout is defined. One item is defined. Now beside it, we have another item. What do we have? We are having a rich text display field. Inside that, we are having a value property where we are having a title. So this is the title on the top, and this is char 10. Char 10 is nothing but for new line. Char 10 is just like a function. It's like convert the number into its Unicode character equivalent. So char 10 is just to allow you to get another line, and then you can place another component below it. So here we are having rich text item. Inside that we are having timestamp, right? And we are having color as secondary. So we are having the format about how you want to showcase the time, and this is it. Beyond this, we are having other configurations on the side by side layout and the side by side item inside that. So you can have a look on the side by side lecture if you have not watched, if you want to thoroughly study side by side layout. This was just a simple implementation. Now here you can see that if you go on the top, Here it is mentioned stack when phone, right? The main thing is stack when phone. So what do we have different here? If the width is phone, so the first condition will execute, right? So let's see what do we have different here. So we are having a bank stamp field, icon, okay. Rest everything is fine. We are having title, align center, and we are having align vertical middle, margin below standard, stack when phone. Here also we are having align vertical middle, margin below standard, stack when phone. What makes it different? The things that makes it different is okay. Title, width minimize. So here we are having align center property in the side by side item, which we don't have it here. We are having an align center property when the stack when phone is there, right? So if the width or if the screen is of viewport of phone, so the layout would be centrally aligned. And if it is desktop, then it is normal as expected. So the small property can change the look and feel of the whole pattern. And you can define your own values, right? So here you can put your own values. Rayon Tech, don't forget to subscribe and so on. If you click on test, so this is what it is. Kind of basic and easy to learn for newbies. And this is the difference of columns, you know, multiple components in a single column layout and multiple components in a single side-by-side item powered by side-by-side layout. So this is one of the good patterns to start with to understand how the flow works of aligning multiple interface rendering functions. So if you really like my implementation, drop a like, drop a comment if you want me to cover a specific interface component.